Welcome to the University of Findlay's Google Hangout. Today we are focusing on WLFC 88.3, one of our many campus media opportunities that our students are involved with. So today I have Doug Jenkins with us, who is not only a graduate of the University of Findlay, excuse me as I make more noises, but Doug is also an advisor here, and he's helping out with WLFC and helping our students become more professional. So Doug, I will turn it over to you.
All right, well, thank you. Yeah, we're not used to being on camera, so we'll try not to be too awkward. My name is Doug Jenkins. I graduated here in 2002, and I've been the station advisor here for about a year and a half now. I also full-time, I'm a news director for WFI and WKXM 106.3 The Fox in Findlay. Basically what we do here is try and teach people how to be on the air if they want to make radio a career, or they can also do it sort of as just something to do, a campus activity. We've got sort of representation from both sides on that. So I guess we'll go ahead and I'll introduce the students here. First is Alyssa Grievenkamp. She is a communication major, and I'll let her tell a little bit more about herself.
I'm a journalism major. I'm focused more on broadcast journalism than I am on print journalism. And I'm originally from Cincinnati, and I'm a senior here at the university.
All right, and then on this side is Micah Johnson, who is also a wide receiver on the football team, and not a communication major, but been DJing for us for quite some time now.
Well, I'm a broadcast journalism and digital media major.
Oh,
so
did you change on us?
No, it's been
all right, never mind.
It's been that. He knows his employees well. But I am doing this radio thing more as kind of just something to put on my resume. And it's a good activity, you know. It's a good I don't know, skill building activity, I guess. It looks good on a resume. They do say I have a face for TV, so you know. But yeah, I want to go into some kind of digital media field. So it's a good experience. And you know, like I said, I mean, he didn't know my major, but he is a good boss.
I could have swore you were in the sports marketing.
No.
All right.
I dared to be different.
Well,
all right.
Mike is very sneaky. Nobody ever knows what his major really is.
Yes, I'm just kind of there. They know about me. They don't know.
Well, you have to balance us with doing sports, and you had to balance us with doing sports as well last year. So
yeah,
it's one of those things you can sort of. You get a couple of hours and you can come in here, do some radio work and still be involved in a lot of other things.
And we had tours. We had tours where high school students came in. That's one of the things I told them, whether they were like a pre-med, pre-vet, some kind of time-consuming major like that, or if they had lots of extracurriculars they were going to do, like if they were on a sports team and wanted to play a sport here. I told them they'd still have time if this was something they were interested in. They shouldn't count this out just because they had those extracurriculars going on. Or if their major was really time consuming, because like he said, you know, it's like if you have a couple of hours, just come out here and you can get on the radio.
I would have left that just stay where it is now. I was going to ask you guys too, at what point can you join WLFC or be a part of it? I mean, you know, I know a lot of students ask that. It's like, you know, they come in their freshman year, you know, can I get in? So yeah. What do you think, Doug?
No experience necessary, actually. So freshmen can take off from week one. It's considered a non-campus job. You actually get paid for working here, which is a little something new. It wasn't always that way. Especially wasn't that way when I was a student here. But just going back and forth with the HR department, they said it looked more like a campus job. So while it's an activity, you also get paid for it as well. Part of the reason you get paid for it is we're an FCC licensed organization, and there are things that we have to do to make sure that we stay in keeping with that. So that's part of, I guess, the minutia behind that, kind of the boring stuff. The bottom line is you get paid a little bit, and you can get paid starting from the first time you start. Now, I started my freshman year. I think you guys get started probably a little bit later.
Yeah, I got started my sophomore year, and I think the coolest part was, I mean, kind of got my feet wet with athletics. You can do a lot of sports here too, and that was what brought me in. So I think that it's really awesome that I started out not getting paid, but then I just ended up loving it and getting into DJing and all that fun stuff. So I think it is a really neat experience, and for me, as being an athlete too, I got to work here, and it was kind of a nice change of pace, because with athletics, sometimes it's so stressful being there, and then this is kind of my relaxation. So it's kind of fun.
I got started going into my junior year, so this summer was actually the first time I'd ever been on the radio like this. So like you said, no experience necessary. The first day I came in for training, and I was on the air. So
Wow.
yeah, so I mean, it's kind of trial by fire. So yeah, you know, and I there's a freshman football player who told me that he was going to be in here, Thomas. He told me that he was coming in for training, and so I mean, yeah, you start as early as you want, I guess. So, but yeah, it's a great way to, if you have trouble speaking in public or something like that. I feel like it's a great way
point.
to hone those skills. Because I don't mind public speaking. I enjoy talking in front of people. But the first time I got on the air, I was nervous. You know what I mean? It's because you can't see the person you're talking to. But after a while, you get really relaxed. So you can work on enunciation and just overall speaking skills a lot with this.
Sounds
this
great.
job, so.
So I know, you know, like you're saying that you joined this your junior year, but I guess my next question for all three of you is, you know, was this your career goal? You know, I know where Doug ended up, but I don't know if that's where you started. So I'll start with you, Alyssa. And what is your career goals?
I would love to work in radio or TV. But radio, I definitely fell in love with it first time I came in. And that's what's funny to me is when I first came into the communication program, I wanted to be more of a newspaper writer or like a sports journalist. But now I love the on-air broadcast. I love getting more hands-on experiences with that. So I think radio or television is where I see myself in the future.
Okay, Doug.
I came as a business administration major when I was a freshman, and I didn't really like it that well. I'd always sort of kind of wanted to be on radio, and just had no idea how to go about that. So I never really thought about it when I was looking at colleges. And fortunately, with the station here and everything, I got a chance to get involved in it, and then talking to other communication majors and the advisors in the program and things like that, could see where the path to get into radio was. So for me, it was always sort of radio or bust. But I really liked to graze in the other programs too, with journalism, which has worked out in doing news, and then doing video production, things like that. So while radio has always been my focus, I always liked the other elements of the program too, just because those all sort of dovetail into each other now.
With the broadcast journalism and digital media major, I hope to go into some kind of sports broadcasting. My uncle is a sports broadcaster over in Wisconsin, and he's made a great career out of it. You know, he loves what he does. He gets to be surrounded by sports, whether it be high school, college, or sometimes pro sports, all the time, which would be great for me. So, you know, it's like my thinking was kind of play sports for as long as you can, and then when you can't anymore, just be around them. So that's what I'm kind of looking into doing.
Well, sounds great. Well, of course, you know, we're talking about the obvious of being on the air, but, you know, Doug, especially you'll be able to answer this one a little better, but what are some of the careers that are in broadcasting, like other than being on the air?
There's a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes too. We always see the people on camera, but I mean, just, you know, when you look at radio, there are producers, the people who are, you know, when you listen to a national talk show, or really not even a talk show, any show you listen to on the radio that's sort of a national broadcast or regional basis, there's somebody in the studio running the board to make sure that the guests get on the air, or somebody who's live in the field get on the air. There's program directors who determine kind of what the music's going to be. There's you know, promotions people who come up with events and things like that, and then there's the back office as well, but it always helps for them to have a little bit of experience in radio too. You like for your accountant to kind of understand why they're in radio too. Although I suppose it's probably not a requisite. I don't know. I don't have any accounting experience outside of what I do here.
That's why we're comm majors.
Yeah, exactly.
Or sports management, whichever.
Yeah, because you are a sports manager. So there, you know, that's just the radio side. On TV, like I said, there's the control room, people who are running the cameras. There's, you know, your field directors. There's just so many different elements behind it that a lot of times I think that I'd like to get off the air and work on more of the behind the stuff things, but that doesn't seem to be in the cards right now.
Well, I guess another question too is a lot of students, you know, they understand that, like, hey, I want to come and I want to learn to be on the radio, but what are some of the class experiences? What are the things you learn in the classroom?
So I'm sorry, for which class then?
So I know for like your journalism and digital media, what are some of the things that you're doing that are helping you towards that, and what are you doing in the classrooms?
Okay. And I forgot to actually emphasize that I would like to go into television. That's as far as broadcasting on TV. So like I said, the radio is just a good.
It's a segue.
It's a resume builder. It's a segue. Yeah. Good way to put it. So as far as the classroom goes, I wouldn't say that I've learned too much that would help me out with the radio, besides maybe my speech class. But I am in a digital media class this semester, which is teaching us how to put together videos and audio projects. So actually, I guess the audio project would have kind of played into this. It taught you a lot about where you need to be to get the right kind of sound, I guess, as far as the audio project went, which kind of ties into how you talk into your microphone, or how you have the volume there. And my mom actually listens to all the broadcasts, so she'll tell me.
Of course she does.
She'll be like, back away from the microphone a little bit, talk a little bit louder. So I couldn't hear you that time. So that digital media class kind of helps out there. And then I'm also in a technical communications class, which is teaching you how to put together different kind of like templates and whatnot, and like whether it be like a memo format, and it really works on formatting and stuff like that. So that's kind of teaching me how to work within a system of people, because it's like we have to send these memos and other, I guess, letter formats to our classmates. So just all those classes are kind of teaching you how to take that into a business setting, like where you're going to put it into your career. So no more gen eds, I guess.
Fair enough.
And I was going to say that for my classes, the one this semester that's really, really been a big factor, I think, was video production too. And it helped me even more with audio, because with video, it's crucial to have great audio, because you will notice it even more in video than anything else. But there's other classes, like Micah said, speech, technical comm, intro to digital media and mass media, and just doing all those audio, video, and all the different projects that we had to do. So I think that really gives us a better hands-on grasp of what we're going to have in the future.
And the thing, I think they've talked a lot about video, and I think that's important, because radio is not just radio anymore. I don't even remember the last time it was just radio. We're all looking to do more elements for our website and hit our listeners wherever they are, which is more and more online. So we're doing a lot of video projects at my full-time job, things like that. And the more that if somebody were come in and apply for a job for us, they wanted to be on air. Certainly we want them to sound good on air, but we all wear multiple hats. And if you can do some video for us, that's probably even better.
So actually you bring up a good point too. As students are undecided or trying to decide what majors to take, obviously if you want to be involved with radio station, or, if that's your career goal, you could do, public relations or the journalism, digital media. But certainly if somebody wanted to go into business or the sport and event management, like you're saying, or even just straight up business management, because as you're saying, there's behind the scenes things like sales and
yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of our managers that we work for down the street at FIN and KXA all were on air at one point, and I think that they also took probably some more business administration type classes when they were in college as well. But they all have that sort of radio background. And again, it comes back to, we have people who DJ here who they're in sciences. We've got some equestrian majors who DJ here. It goes back to that. Just because you're majoring in something else that's not communication, this is, if you've got that creative itch to scratch, this is probably the best place to do it, because you carve out a couple hours a week, come in and DJ for a little while. You can select some of the music that we play and everything like that. But I think it will probably benefit them in their career too, just because they're going to be better speakers as well. And that's a big key.
And that creative itch, I just want to piggyback on that. I'm just now realizing how much more I can do with my show, or my 2-hour segment, because we have to fill out a little survey afterward, telling
you guys love that survey, don't you?
So telling what we did on the air for our broadcast, and it always asks, "Did you do an on-air interview?" And I'm always just like, "No, I didn't do an on-air interview." But then it occurred to me, I'm a football player. I play with people who are getting nominated for GLIAC Player of the Week or GLIAC Player of the Year, as Chris Reaper just got, he's an offensive lineman on the team. I could have those people in for like radio broadcast, for interviews and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like a little light bulb went off, because you can really do a lot with the show. You know, it's just a 2-hour segment where you really can just scratch that creative itch, like he said. So, you know, I mean, if you're not in the field of broadcast or television or whatever, you still come in here and just, like you said, you know, get creative with it. Just, it's a good way to kind of just have that little piece of clay that you can mold.
So a little bit of marketing would help too.
Absolutely.
Coming from a marketing perspective,
Right.
but yeah, it's definitely that creative thinking. So I also wanted to ask, and maybe this is more specifically to Doug, what are some of the internship opportunities that some of the students have had?
Actually, Alyssa can talk a lot about that.
There you
She
go.
interns for us at WFI and KXA at 106.3 The Fox. And one of the reasons we selected her as an intern is just, I noticed she was doing good work here. When she applied, I knew she'd probably do very good work for us too, but you can talk a little bit about what you've done on the internship.
So over the summer, I did an internship with them, and then as well as in the fall. They asked me back. I'm surprised. But I did a lot over the summer with getting better on-air presence. My voice definitely needs work. And then I got to write up news scripts with Doug. He's very, very helpful on how to do that, because it's so different in radio than it is in newspaper, because you have to be really straightforward and kind of get to your points quicker, because you only have a limited amount of time to get that in. But then this fall I worked on highlights for football games. I also got to do a scoreboard update 4 times a night. So I would just record what scores were coming in and kind of keep people updated on who won the games. And then after that, I got to put together the highlight reel, which was fun, but it took a lot of time. So, but that's always video editing. It's going to take a while, but it was a great experience, I thought.
We had Alyssa go to one area high school football game that we had people send video back from other high school football games, and she put together sort of like a music video highlight reel package. It was actually pretty popular on our Facebook pages and on the website, and it's just, again, one of those things where, yeah, we're a radio station, but we also, how else can we get our listeners or get to our listeners and get them something that they would enjoy? And that was a very big success.
Yeah, I was going to say that a couple people, like, they commented on, hey, can I send you video from this game? Hey, can I do this? And I'm like, wow, like, it was a huge hit.
So it's nice to get more content.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Now, have you had any internship opportunities, Micah?
I just recently this semester did a job fair, which was actually for one of our classes. We had to go to a job fair. It's technical communications. And I was actually in a really big hurry. I had to get to a mandatory football lift. So I didn't really, wasn't really dressed up, wasn't really in there specifically to find an internship, but I picked up 3, which was the maximum, or the minimum that we could have. And one of them called me. Even in my workout clothes, you know, looking like I was in a hurry, not really very personable. One of them gave me a call, told me that they wanted me to email them all my information and stuff like that. I'm just really trying for the life of me to remember the company. It wasn't, that's how that
Give them that shout out.
It wasn't really in a field that I specifically necessarily wanted to go into. Right? They're watching. It wasn't really in a field that I wanted to go into, and like I said, it was just for that class. But I guess to answer your question, yes, that would have been one of my internship opportunities. But yeah, right now, you know, I am technically this was my freshman season on the football field, so I've got 3 more. So I've got a lot of school left, and I was kind of just trying to get everything under control in the school and football aspect.
You want to get your feet under you
before I grab the internship opportunities and stuff like that. So
can fully appreciate that, and I think a lot of the companies that come to campus, I think they know
Yeah.
they know you're college students.
Right.
Yes, you need to dress up and be presentable, but you know, I understand the circumstance too. But I guess the other thing I wanted to ask all of you about is life on campus. You know, what are some of the things that you do on campus, Alyssa?
On campus, well, I hang out with my friends a lot. But this year has been really busy for me. I've been working a lot more with the comm programs here, and I think that's really nice to just kind of get closer to like the comm student majors. Like I think that was a big thing with basketball. It took me away from doing all the other cool things you get to do with the communications program, And this year, I really have gotten to kind of get to know everybody better and got to meet Mike over the summer too. So that's always fun.
So are you involved with the other campus media?
Yeah, the Pulse and UFTV.
Okay, so yeah, our radio station, obviously, TV station, and we have campus newspaper that students are involved with. So, Michael, what are you involved with?
If you get back to me in like 2 months, I'll tell you what kind of social activities. Like I said, football season just ended, so honestly, I was really just sleeping on campus is what I was doing.
That is your social.
Activity. When I had free time, I usually went to sleep. Like I said, I'm part of the athletic team, so a lot of time goes into that, and I love it. I'm not complaining. But between mandatory lifts and meetings and film, you don't find yourself with too much free time in season. Out of season, it's a little better, but you're still expected to do all these things. They're not mandatory anymore, but you're still expected to push it. You're still expected to push your time in. So like Alyssa said, I hang out with friends. I'm looking to get more involved with stuff like the Pulse and UFTV and things like that this next semester. Like I said, out of season's a little more time, a little less time consuming. So I'll get into those extracurriculars, and then like she said, hang out with friends, and I do have a girlfriend, so I hang out with her a lot too.
That's pretty good.
She's watching.
Mandatory hours.
She needed to mention, those are mandatory. So overall though, this is a good campus, and it's a really good place, to grow as a person. I feel like. Not too big, so you don't get lost in the mix of things, and not too small, so you can have a little bit of breathing room if you need it.
Exactly. And Doug, you can give the perspective twofold from when you were a student and what you enjoy now.
I would have loved to have a campus atmosphere like it is now when I was a student. There's just a lot more to do on campus now. There's a fairly robust intramural sports program for those of us who might not be quite as athletic to play university sports, but athletic enough to continue intramurally. At least that was the case back then, probably not anymore. I'm kind of like Alyssa. I spent most all of my time with the communication majors and doing all the different things. Most of my time was at the radio station when I was a student here, but also did a lot of stuff with UFTV. A little bit with the Pulse as well. Plus, we had public relations classes, marketing classes, all of that. So the nice thing is that because it's a small school, you've got essentially you're the same when you're even in those public relations classes. It's the same kids that you're in class with your video production class too. So you really kind of develop this sort of team ethic towards everything, and I think that helps with projects and things like that. But outside of that, I worked at the ball when I was a student here. Worked at American Eagle for 3 years, and I don't look like an American Eagle employee anymore. But the discount was pretty nice. But I hung out with a lot of people there. I was in a fraternity here, hung out with fraternity brothers. I was busy all the time, so there was a lot to do then. But it seems like everything's just really there's a lot more student-centered activities now. What they've done with the rec center is really awesome. It was an ice rink when I was here. I don't ice skate. That didn't help me any. But what they have is pretty cool.
What all do they have at the rec center, Doug?
Well, there was the rock climbing wall. That would have been fun. More basketball courts, track.
I've only done that once.
The rock climbing wall?
Yeah.
You get to the top?
No. I'm scared of heights.
I went on the hardest wall and got about 3 feet up.
Did you? But at least you tried, right? You had that opportunity.
I was a little bit overzealous on that one.
It's one of those things on your bucket list, right?
Yeah,
So,
before I graduate, I got to get to the top of that hard wall. It's on the fingers.
but yeah, I mean, there's so much to do. There's this ping pong, and there's racquetball, and there's the cardio center upstairs, and then there's the weight room. So
well, the cardio center and the weight room up there is awesome because we had to share all of that with the football players when we were students here. And I don't know if you want to compare biceps or not, but
I wore a baggy shirt.
I wasn't.
I wore a baggy shirt.
I wasn't exactly putting up as much weight as the football players. I didn't go in there that much.
Yeah, we do. Like you said, they had to share it back then, but now the football team does have where it's not a football only, but it's an athletics weight room. So that other workout area is still open for people not in sports. But there's people who aren't in sports and come down to the football weight room sometimes too.
Sure.
So, or athletics weight room too. So.
Well, what about some of the other student services that we have on campus? And have you guys taken advantage of those? I know, like, we have the Oiler Success Center and the Cosiano the Health Center, internship and placements. Have you guys got to take advantage of those yet?
Yeah, I know my freshman year I was one of Jan Taylor's advisees because I was undecided. So she did a really good job helping me out. I was between business and communication, so I'm here.
So here you are.
And then Cosiano, yeah, I've taken care of that a couple times because I've been sick over winter, and they were really, really helpful. I mean, you get everything.
So that's basically a free visit to, you know, instead of going to a doctor, you don't have to pay for the doctor visit. And they can help
my
you
mom always harps on me. You gotta go there. It's free.
Exactly.
And, you know, they really, when you come in as a freshman, that Cosiano, one of the nurses, will talk to you at the orientation, and they tell you that you can't have your mom here, so we're like a second mom, and they're not lying. Like when you go in, you got your cold, because I'm kind of a wuss when it comes to getting sick. I'll go in there, and they're really, really, really nice. You know, it's like they take care of you.
Yeah, because you get your flu shots and anything else that you need there, so it's been really good.
Just in terms of the Success Center and getting internships, that's another area where they've really buffed that out over the last several years. I think the effort that they place on getting students into internships, and not just an internship, but a high quality internship, they've really put a lot of effort into that. So much so that we have this partnership with the Cleveland Browns, the Browns Edge program, where one of our DJs actually has spent the last semester, actually last 2 semesters, because he was in Cleveland over the summer. And did well, so they invited him back. So essentially his classwork, it's paid internship, has been to work for the Cleveland Browns this year.
Yeah, it's a rough life, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think they're working him hard, but I mean, that's life-changing stuff to put on your resume.
Exactly.
And he's getting to, just to bring it back to communication and radio, he's getting to work a little bit with their radio network and in their in-house programming and things like that. So, you know, it's not just a communication internship. There's a lot of business things. But basically, if you're a hard worker and they notice it, they'll find a place for you.
Exactly, because I know we've had some marketing interns and sport event management and so forth, and you know, and that's an opportunity that's only available through the University of Findlay. So I'm glad you brought that up. But I will wrap things up here, and usually how I wrap mine up is I ask people, what do they like about being an Oiler? So I'll start with you.
What I like about being an Oiler is everybody here is so helpful and so friendly, and you feel right at home when you first get on campus. I remember being a freshman and being really nervous about everything, but everybody was so welcoming and so kind-hearted, and I think that's just different from a lot of other universities. I've heard of other big major universities where, I mean, obviously you don't know everybody because there's 20,000 people that go there or more, and so I think this is just a great place to come, and you're in a tight-knit group for communication, at least. And I mean, I work with almost everybody every day, so it's just nice to kind of build those friendships and all that stuff.
Well, I came from a smaller school, so I was kind of hoping to, you know, get a real college experience. And from a football player's point of view, you kind of want to go to a bigger college. But once I did end up getting here, I realized that it was kind of nice not to get lost. You know, at first I thought that was what I wanted. I had bigger schools looking at me for football and things like that. But then when those offers either fell through or never came, I ended up coming here, and I think there was a big feeling of discontent at first. But then I kind of realized what I had, which was just a university that is going to care about you as an individual rather than just a number. So I think that's what I value the most about being here, is like you get a real sense of people who care about you as an individual rather than just, you know, somebody who's filling their just their numbers of students in attendance. So that's what I like about being an Oiler.
What about you, Doug?
I guess it's a different perspective for me. As a student, you know, just that closeness with the people that were all in the same major. There's sort of that team element. But now it's just more, this is home. My wife works here full time. This is just part time for me. But the couple hours or so I get to spend on campus every day, it's amazing how much younger it'll make you feel when you're back on your college campus and walking around, especially in the fall when the leaves are turning and everything. To me, there's no better time to be on campus. But you know, it's just home. That's my Oiler experience. I'm glad to be back.
Well, I want to thank you guys for taking the time to sit with us and answer some questions. Yeah, I can't speak right sometimes. I know, I have a voice for radio, right? But if you have, definitely, if anybody has any questions that are watching, please get with our admission people. We'd love to have you on campus, so that way, you can see we're sitting in our wonderful studio as is, but we would love to have you here and see it for yourself and take a tour of campus, and definitely we'd be able to have you talk to some faculty and students and answer all your questions. So definitely get with us, and thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.